Hello gardeners, Miss Bina here. So here we are, it's at the very end of the year and this is the last video. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to wander around the garden and I'm going to point out a few plants that we can look at. What's really nice about doing this is that when we plant a lot of our summer plants, we can take a look at how big they are. In June, here we are early June. And remember when we come back in September for what they look like, and then we can kind of take note of how much they've grown. This is our sheet mulch project with the pumpkins, and as you can see, some of them look a little happier than others. This one here on the far left definitely looks like a happier one. We're just gonna let them go, and maybe another one will pull through and get to be as happy as the other ones. Here's a little straw flower. Isn't it cute? Straw flowers are really neat because you can pick them, and if you were to pick these flowers right now and dry them, they would stay exactly like this for a really long time until maybe the petals fell off. You can kind of hear the sound here. It makes a dry sound. They make this flower that's very dried and crispy. It's not like a fresh flower that will wither. So I really love these, and I put a couple of them in here, so I hope you can enjoy them too. We have some little tiny baby grapes are starting in, and so hopefully this summer they will make real grape clusters and maybe everybody can sample them. There are a lot of plants growing in here. I want to focus in particularly on our alpine strawberries. Eventually it'd be really nice to have a lot of these alpine strawberries growing, because the really great thing about alpine strawberries is that they make strawberries almost year round instead of making strawberries just in the summer. So it'd be so nice to be having something to snack on during the school year. Over here is our sorrel. I just planted a little patch of sorrel. The great thing about sorrel is that it is a perennial, not an annual. So let me explain the difference between perennials and annuals really quick again. Perennials mean you plant them and they grow year after year indefinitely for many, many years. Whereas an annual just grows for one growing season or 1 year. So most of our garden vegetables are annual. So that's why this is special. I just planted 2 sweet bell peppers. Here we have this guy right here. These are some tomatillos that we just put in. Over here, this big bush that was going to start making a lot of flowers, that makes these really pretty burgundy flowers, and that makes other colors too, but this particular one makes burgundy flowers. This is going to get really big. It is our scabiosa. Over here we have quite a few of these garlic growing. This is a garlic. So this is special. My sister grew these garlic, and I planted a few of them last fall, which is when you need to plant garlic, is in the fall. Okay, so coming over here, our sage just took off. So this is kind of our herb section, and our thyme looks really nice and healthy. Now this here is a carrot that we planted last year, and it is going to seed. We're just going to let it go to seed because sometimes it's fun to collect seeds, as we've learned in our seed video, right? Over here is a tomato. We have quite a few early girl tomatoes growing in the garden. This is the beginning of a marigold, so we're going to have quite a few of these. We tucked a few of these in. Going over to this bed, this is kind of, in the winter, this bed becomes cool, so I think of this as our cool weather kale bed. And we just planted these other ones, 2 of these guys. They're looking really great, these kalettes. And another tomato that we have in here, and this is a volunteer sunflower. Those are always fun. We do have also some green scallions growing. Those are these guys, some onion type things. And we've got some rainbow chard. So we've got a yellow one and a red one. They're going to kick in a little bit later. They're just getting started. Over in this bed, we have more tomatoes, and we also planted some basil next to our tomatoes, and we also planted some Japanese eggplants. So that just happened today. There's a little eggplant right here that's going to get really big and hopefully make us some Japanese, those are the long skinny ones, eggplants. And this right here is an edible chrysanthemum, and Miss Jolda gave us this plant. She planted it, so thank you, Miss Jolda. And over here, this is our apple tree. These are our apple trees. They seem to have some apples on them. Later we will thin the apples out because, let me show you something about apples. They grow in this cluster right here. That means they're growing too close together and we want them to grow a little bigger. So we start taking a few out of the cluster. So we'll need to do that soon just to kind of give them a little more room to grow big. So over here, remember this is our straw bale project experiment, as it were. Let's just take a quick look here. This chard looks really happy. We have another marigold about to bloom. We have here a nice early girl tomato planted here. Early girl tomatoes, they make medium-sized, really delicious round tomatoes. So I took out most of the peas because they weren't doing very well, but this one is doing really well. And I planted another little thing that's hard to see. I'm just going to show you. I have one little leaf peeking up. I really tucked it in there because I wanted to get the moisture of the straw bales, really, in case, you know, I'm not going to be back to water for a week. So these are really exciting. These are going to be watermelon cucumbers. Now, they are little cucumbers. They taste like cucumbers, but the reason they're called watermelon cucumbers is because they look like miniature watermelons, and they really are miniature cucumbers. This potato over here looks really good. Different kinds of potatoes here. So this is another tucked in here, another birdhouse gourd. And this is a red robin cherry tomato. It's really super cute little tomato. It makes little tiny tomatoes, and it's a tiny little plant too. It's the first year I've ever grown them. So over here we have a couple of winter squash, and they don't seem super happy, to be honest. But we're just gonna let them go. They are growing, they are making squash, so we can't complain too much. You know, that's the way the garden goes. I hope you all have a wonderful summer, and I look forward to seeing you out in the garden this coming fall. Bye-bye.